Why do we so often rush to judge someone before knowing their story? What if the person you dismiss as guilty was actually the victim of a deeper, darker system, a system that thrives on bias and fear? In a small town in southern Ohio, where racial tension simmered just below the surface, statistics tell a troubling story. Black residents make up only 15% of the population, yet they account for nearly 40% of all traffic stops. And when it comes to arrests, the numbers skew even further. Is this coincidence, or is there something more at play? If you are enjoying this story, let me know where you're watching from in the comments, literally anywhere in the world. Also, hit that subscribe button to stay updated, and drop your thought below. Your voice matters. Thanks for being here. Enter Olivia Parker, daughter of Mayor William Parker, a woman whose life took an unexpected turn one rainy evening. As she drove home from volunteering at a local shelter, her car was pulled over by two officers known for their aggressive tactics. At first glance, it seemed like a routine stop, broken taillight, nothing unusual. But what unfolded next would shake the community to its core. The officers approached her window with suspicion, their tone heavy with assumptions. They asked questions no one should have to answer under such circumstances. Where are you coming from? Who were you with? The interrogation grew intense, and soon Olivia found herself facing accusations far beyond a simple traffic violation. What led these officers to believe she was involved in illegal activities? Was it her presence in a predominantly black neighborhood late at night? Or was it something deeper, an ingrained prejudice that clouded their judgment? As viewers, we're left wondering, how many others have faced similar treatment without the privilege of connections or resources? This isn't just Olivia's story. It's a reflection of countless lives impacted by systemic racism. So, here's a question. What do you think happened next? Do you believe Olivia's innocence will be enough to overcome the biases stacked against her? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Did the officers act within protocol, or did they let personal biases dictate their actions? Let's explore this together, not just as observers, but as participants in understanding the complexities of justice and fairness in our communities. As the rain continued to patter against her car, Olivia sat frozen, her mind racing. The officers' questions became more pointed, their voices harder. One of them leaned closer to her window, his flashlight cutting through the darkness, scanning her face for any sign of guilt. But what they saw wasn't fear. It was confusion, frustration, and a growing anger that she couldn't yet articulate. Step out of the vehicle, one of the officers commanded, his tone leaving no room for argument. Olivia hesitated, her hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. She knew her rights, but in that moment, theory felt distant from reality. What good were laws if the people enforcing them didn't see you as equal? With trembling legs, she obeyed, stepping into the cool night air. The second officer circled around the back of her car, opening her trunk without asking permission. Inside were boxes of donated clothes she'd picked up earlier that day for the shelter. Yet, instead of seeing charity, the officers seemed to find only suspicion. "Why do you have so much cash on you?" one of them asked suddenly, pulling out a water bill she'd set aside for paying the shelter's utility bill. It was a reasonable amount, nothing unusual, but to them, it looked suspicious. Or maybe it wasn't the money itself. Maybe it was the way they viewed her, a young black woman driving a modest sedan in a neighborhood they deemed unsafe. Olivia tried to explain, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "That's for the shelter. I can show you the receipts." But her words fell flat. The officers exchanged glances, their body language shifting from skepticism to something darker, a kind of certainty that she was hiding something. And then came the ultimatum. "If you don't cooperate, we'll have to bring you downtown, to the station, for questioning." 4 hours of sitting in a cold, sterile room while they dug deeper into her life, her history, her character, all based on assumptions rooted in bias. But here's where things get interesting. Olivia wasn't alone in this fight. Word spread quickly about the stop, thanks to a passerby who recorded part of the interaction on their phone. The video showed the escalating tension, the unfairness of the situation, and most importantly, Olivia's calm insistence on her innocence. Within hours, the clip went viral, sparking outrage across social media. Local activists began calling for answers. Community leaders demanded accountability. And for the first time, some residents who had long stayed silent about police misconduct found their voices. Was this just another case of racial profiling, or was it a symptom of a larger problem? What do you think? Do videos like these change the narrative, or do they simply highlight how deeply ingrained these issues are? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Could public pressure force a department to take action, or will the system protect its own? Let's keep digging together, because every comment brings us closer to understanding the truth, and maybe even finding a solution. As the weeks stretched into months, the momentum behind the movement only grew. National civil rights organizations took notice, amplifying Olivia Parker's story and calling for broader reforms beyond her small town. Her name became synonymous with police accountability, and invitations to speak at rallies and forums poured in. But with the attention came backlash. Some residents, particularly those with close ties to law enforcement, saw her activism as an attack on police rather than a call for justice. Anonymous threats trickled into her inbox, accusing her of inciting division. Political commentators debated her on television, some dismissing her as a privileged mayor's daughter seeking attention, while others hailed her as a necessary voice for change. Meanwhile, within the police department, tensions ran high. Officers who supported reform faced pushback from their colleagues, and the suspended officers appealed their cases, claiming they had been unfairly targeted. The police union pushed back hard, arguing that without full legal backing, the disciplinary measures could set a dangerous precedent for law enforcement everywhere. Olivia refused to be discouraged. She worked closely with legal experts and community leaders to draft new policies aimed at preventing racial profiling, including stronger civilian oversight of the police department. At the next city council meeting, she presented a proposal for a permanent independent review board, one with the power to investigate misconduct claims and recommend disciplinary action without interference from the department. The proposal sparked fierce debate. Opponents claimed it would undermine police authority, while supporters argued that true accountability was the only way to rebuild trust. The vote was scheduled for the following month, and in the days leading up to it, both sides mobilized. On the night of the vote, the council chambers were packed. Residents lined up to speak, some sharing personal stories of unjust treatment by the police, others voicing concerns about public safety. Olivia sat with her father, William Parker, who had come to support her despite the political risk. When the final votes were cast, the results were announced. The independent review board had passed by a narrow margin. A wave of applause filled the room, mixed with murmurs of discontent from those who opposed it. But Olivia knew this was only the beginning. Policies could be written, but true change required a shift in mindset, one that wouldn't happen overnight. As she walked out of the council chambers that night, she took a deep breath, ready for whatever came next. The real fight had only just begun.